I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
Stop scrolling, because what just leaked might change everything you thought you knew about Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. For years, people have watched their love story unfold like a modern-day fairy tale. The music, the red carpets, the laughter, the family goals posts that had everyone saying relationship of the year. They weren't just a couple, they were a brand. A blueprint for what black love in the spotlight could look like. But now all of that is cracking wide open. And this time, it isn't coming from tabloids, messy blogs, or anonymous industry insiders. It's coming from a voice no one expected, their daughters. Yes, you heard that right. Alleged voice notes from Teyana and Iman's child have surfaced online, and what's inside them is both heartbreaking and shocking. It's the kind of truth no PR team can spin, no Instagram filter can hide. Because when a child speaks, the world listens differently. And when that child starts describing the pain of growing up between two parents who've forgotten how to love each other, everything changes. At first, most people refused to believe it. How could something so private even leak? They asked. Who recorded it? Who shared it? Was this deliberate, or just a horrible accident that spiraled out of control? But once the clips started spreading across social media, the disbelief faded. Because what people were hearing didn't sound fake. It didn't sound rehearsed. It sounded real. The soft, trembling voice of a little girl trying to make sense of a world that suddenly felt colder. This wasn't the smiling, picture-perfect family fans were used to seeing. This was something deeper, raw, unfiltered, painfully human. It painted a portrait of a child caught between love, loss, and silence. Between two adults too busy fighting their own battles to see the effect it was having on the person who needed them most. To understand the weight of this leak, you have to rewind. Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert weren't just famous. They were beloved. From their reality show to interviews where they laughed like best friends, fans saw a connection that felt rare. They were beautiful, talented, and most importantly, real. And at the center of that world was their daughter. The little star who often danced into the frame, who giggled on camera, who became the heart of the family image. But images can lie. While the world was double-tapping their posts and calling them couple goals, something behind the scenes was unraveling. Whispers of infidelity started surfacing. Rumors of separation. Moments when both Teyana and Iman appeared distant, physically and emotionally. Fans brushed it off. They're fine, people said. Every relationship has ups and downs. But then the leak happened, and the illusion shattered. The first voice note was simple but devastating. You hear a little girl's voice saying she misses her dad. Not like a kid missing a parent who's on a trip, but in a deeper, more painful way. The kind of missing that comes from absence. From broken promises. From waiting for someone who doesn't show up anymore. She doesn't accuse him of anything. She doesn't sound angry. But that's what makes it hurt more, because innocence doesn't lie. Fans began connecting the dots immediately. All those nights Iman was seen out at events alone. The cryptic quotes Teyana had been posting, choosing peace over pain. The separate appearances, the subtle distance that had been there all along. Through this little girl's voice, the truth came through, softly but clearly. The happy home wasn't happy anymore. Then came the second clip. And this one changed everything. This time the tone was heavier. It wasn't about missing her dad anymore. It was about what she had seen. Doors slamming. Raised voices. Her mom crying when she thought no one was watching. That one line, "Mom cries a lot," broke people. Because that's not gossip. That's not rumor. That's truth, spoken by someone too young to understand the full story, but old enough to feel the pain. Hearing that from a child cuts differently. It's no longer about celebrity drama. It's about the cost of love gone wrong, and the innocence lost along the way. Within hours, the internet exploded. Clips spread across TikTok and Twitter. Blog pages reposted the audio. Fans debated endlessly, some furious that a child's private voice was being used for clicks, others dissecting every second of the recording, trying to find meaning in the smallest sounds. For many, it confirmed what they already feared. That the love story they had once admired had turned into something darker. That behind the glitz, the coordinated outfits, and the interviews there was heartbreak, real, human, and raw. And the fact that this truth came not from a scandal, but from the one person who should have been protected from it all. That's what hit the hardest. Because in a world obsessed with perfection, sometimes the most powerful truth comes from the smallest voice. But then came the most explosive clip of all. And this time it wasn't just about crying or shouting. This one cut deep. In the third alleged recording, their daughter's voice said something that froze everyone who heard it. "It feels like Dad chooses other people over us." Just let that sink in. Those 9 words hit harder than any headline ever could. Out of the mouth of a child came a sentence that tied together years of whispers, rumors, and late-night speculation. Every time Iman was spotted at an event without his family, every headline hinting at other women, every quiet moment Teyana spent alone, it all suddenly made sense to fans. The internet didn't just react, it exploded. For many, this wasn't gossip anymore. This was something darker. This was neglect. This was a child recognizing patterns that adults tried to hide behind smiles and captions. And once those words were out there, there was no taking them back. You can delete a post, deny a rumor, unfollow an account, but you can't erase the voice of a child. Once you hear her say that, you can't unhear it. You can't look at the family the same way again. Suddenly, the perfect couple image shattered completely. The internet began to see not #family goals, but a picture of a home filled with heartbreak, distance, and silence. Within hours, hashtags began to trend across every platform. #protect Teyana. #pray for their daughter. #Iman exposed. The digital world turned into a storm of opinions, reactions, and judgment. Some fans defended Iman fiercely. They said kids can exaggerate, that maybe she was misunderstood, or that the audio could have been taken out of context. They reminded everyone that clips can be edited, manipulated, and that we still didn't know who leaked them. But others weren't buying it. They pointed straight to Iman's past. The old allegations, the inconsistencies, the nights he was seen out without his family. To them, the daughter's words weren't just emotional. They were the missing puzzle piece. The confirmation everyone had been waiting for. Blogs started breaking down every second of the recordings word by word. Twitter threads connected timelines. TikTok creators made analysis videos, layering screenshots and captions over the child's voice. It wasn't just a leak anymore. It was a storm that no one could control. And through it all, Teyana Taylor said nothing. No interviews. No live videos. No official statements. Just silence and a few subtle Instagram posts. Maybe a quote about peace. Maybe a picture with no caption at all. The kind of silence that says everything without saying a single word. For her fans, that silence was deafening. Was she protecting her daughter? Was she refusing to give the internet more fuel? Or was she just exhausted, too drained to keep defending herself in a world that feeds on pain? Whatever the reason, that silence spoke louder than any press release could. Meanwhile, the spotlight shifted to Iman, and his reaction only made things worse. Instead of addressing the clips head-on, he brushed them off. Some reports said he denied everything, calling the recordings fake, a setup meant to destroy his name. Others claimed he tried to change the subject, focusing on his career, his projects, his appearances. But none of that mattered, because people weren't looking at him as a celebrity anymore. They were looking at him as a father. And when you're seen through that lens, every excuse sounds hollow. Maybe that's the saddest part of all of this. Because while the world argues over who's right and who's wrong, the one person truly caught in the middle is their daughter. A little girl whose voice is now everywhere. Replayed. Picked apart by millions of strangers online. She didn't ask for fame. She didn't ask to be part of a scandal. All she wanted was her parents' love, their attention, their unity. Instead, she became the accidental whistleblower of her own family's truth. And that's a burden no child should ever have to carry. But here's where things get even more complicated. If these voice notes leaked once, what else might be out there? Were these the only ones? Or are there more recordings waiting to surface? Ones that might paint an even darker picture? And if this is just the beginning, what happens when the next clip drops? That's the real cliffhanger. Because right now the whole world is watching, not as fans but as witnesses. And for Teyana and Iman, one thing is certain: there's no going back. Once the voice of a child breaks the illusion, no amount of PR or silence can put it back together. So now, everyone's asking the same question. Were these voice notes real, or part of a setup? Was this a child unknowingly revealing her truth? Or was her voice used by someone with an agenda? Whatever the answer is, one thing's clear. This story isn't over. It's only entering its next chapter. In the ending, no one sees it coming.